see webinar is live streaming now on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sangeeta, please let me know when I need to start the video.
Sangeeta, you're muted. You'll have to cue us to broadcast the session.
Yes, Ekta, please go ahead. I can see attendees still joining in.
Maybe you can replay the video.
Good morning. Welcoming everyone to Huawei Smart TV Community Webinar. Intelligent Era is coming. Simple, digital, and automatic O&M. I'm Sangeeta Sridhar from Solar Quarter, Asia's biggest clean tech media firm. I would quickly take you all through the agenda for today. Starting with presentation by Mr. Brinder Gandhi, CEO Impulse Green Energy Private Limited. We will be having two one-to-one chat sessions with smart leaders of solar rooftop industry. We'll be taking you to a video tour of Huawei factory. Lastly, we have an exciting quiz contest wherein top 5 winners would be felicitated by mementos by Huawei. I would be quickly launching a poll before we proceed ahead with the presentation session by Mr. Brinder Gandhi to know the audience, which category the audience belong to. Five seconds. I'll be closing the poll. I can still see audience voting. Which part of solar? I'm just sharing the results. So we have around 22% of IPP with us, 18% of manufacturers with us, 9% of OEM, and 3% of industry body. I'll be quickly launching the second poll. What will be the capacity addition of rooftop segment by 21? I'm sharing the results now. So 35% of people believe with 1.2 to 1.5 gigawatts. I would be quickly launching one more last poll. Have you used Huawei products before? I'm closing the poll. So we have 44% of audience who have not used Huawei products yet. So I'm sure this sets a tone for us. Mr. Gandhi, over to you with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Sangeeta. Good morning to everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Huawei and Impulse Green team for our seminar. So my name is Brinder Gandhi. I am CEO of Impulse Green Energy. We are a value-added partner for Huawei. So I'll take you through our whole Huawei solution and products in the presentation. So I'll just so we are talking about today only the smart PV solution for the rooftop segment. We also have inverters, string inverters for utility scale, which may be covered in the next sessions. So I'll just give you a brief introduction about Huawei. Huawei is a company having presence in 170 plus countries and almost 194,000 employees. Out of that, 96,000 employees are based in R&D. Huawei has 14 research centers and research institutes all over the world. And Huawei is ranked 61 in the Fortune 500 companies. Uh, Talking about sales revenue in 2019, Huawei has done close to 2.9 billion USD, which is an increase of 19.1% over the last year. Huawei, as we told, we are investing a lot of money back into R&D, and that is being shown in the products which are offered by us. So Huawei over the past 1 year or past 1 decade has spent almost 70 billion US dollars in the R&D, and Huawei is ranked number 5th in the total scorecard by European Commission on the R&D investment. Huawei is coming up with a lot of improvements on the products, and we are talking about artificial intelligence also for the smart inverters. Huawei is leading the solar industry development, and with continuous improvement, we are improving the products. If you see, the trend has changed from 2017, where the string inverters are now mostly used for the projects, including the ground mount projects. And we see that the share of string inverter keep on increasing over the next years, and probably by 2022, it will be 61%. And till 2009, end of 2019, Huawei has already supplied 118 gigawatt of string inverters globally. And from the last 5 years on the trot, Huawei is number 1 in global inverter shipment, as per IHS market report. So we have solutions for all PV scenarios. We have solutions for residential. We have solutions for commercial and industrial. And we also have solutions for utility scale 185 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt inverters. So we are talking about string inverters for all PV scenarios. And Huawei is totally focused on string inverters. So we are only offering string inverters, not other inverters. So introducing you Impulse Green Energy. Impulse Green Energy is a company. We have a solution provider for solar industry. We have a rich experience in the solar market with complete marketing professional team. And we have our own custom clearance and freight and custom bounded warehouse facility. We can deliver product at site without any delays on time. And we have sales and service network all over India. So giving our presence, we have our head office is in Mumbai, and we have sales offices in Delhi, Pune, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. And we also have our own warehouses in Mumbai, Chennai, and Ajmer. And we can cater to any customer all over India with respect to Huawei inverters. We keep stock of Huawei inverters for rooftop as well as utility scale projects. Talking about our partners, so we are representing these brands. So Huawei is our inverter partner. We are also in modules representing REC, Longi Solar, and Renesola from international players, and Pennar as a local domestic manufacturer. We also do micro inverters, which is HUAWEI, and we also do DC cables from Leone, and we can also provide you connectors from QC Solar. Coming to the smart PV solution for CNI segment. So we have inverters available for less than 100 kilowatt for CNI, which is starting with 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, and we have 36 kilowatt. We also have a 50 kilowatt and 100 kilowatt for the CNI segment. So here you can see we are directly connecting the PV modules to the inverter, and then there's a smart dongle which is used to communicate between the inverter and the smart management system. We have our own monitoring portal, which is Fusion Solar, and it is based on cloud and app, and it is easy to access. Then we also have a scenario for megawatt scale where we can offer 100 kilowatt inverters, and these our scenario is simple: directly connection of string into inverter. You get string level monitoring, and then you can use a smart logger to connect multiple inverters. So up to 50 devices can be connected in a single smart logger. And then monitoring portal, you can see all the inverters, include for all the information to the inverters and also the string level information. Huawei is focused on 8 unique innovations to support the optimal electricity cost. And here you can see that we are focusing on safety, yields, and maintenance of the system. And we are also focused on artificial intelligence. We are bringing in artificial powered active arcing protection. We have tailored this active arcing and enhanced it for large scale CNI segment. We also have 2 strings per MPPT, which is helping in getting more yields. Our efficiency of the inverters is reaching up to 98.7%. We are also offering built-in PAD recoveries for better module performance. We have eliminated all the fuse and quick wear parts from the inverter and trying to make it touch free for you. We have a completely natural cooling, fully sealed design, which is giving higher reliability and better performance over the long period of the system. And we can offer you complete online smart IV curve diagnosis for modules also, so you know the health of the module over the period of time and the performance of the module. So coming to active safety, uh, electric arcing is very important factor which is threatening the safety of a PV system. So electric, how it is happening is that there's a breakdown of the air which is causing prolonged electrical discharge between the air, and the causes of this electric arcing could be solder joints within the modules, or broken PV cables, or loosened PV connectors. Uh, if a arcing is happening, then the temperature can be reached up to 3000 degrees, and it can easily catch fire for any component or even on the roof. So arc detection is one of the big challenge, and arc noise is very weak generally, and if we talk about the normal current, it is very small portion of the normal current, and it's very difficult to detect. And then inverters which is working already with load, grid interference signals, and other things, it is not easy to detect, and it may have a problem in detecting to the arc noise. So Huawei has brought in artificial intelligence power arcing protection. Here in the video you can see that uh, what are the causes for the uh, arc AFCI, and how AI powered AFCI is developing. So we are collecting all the arc fault data from the site, and there's an inbuilt chip in the inverter which is storing all the data, and then analyzing that arc fault with the in condition, and then immediately within 2.5 seconds it can accurately detect the fault. So here you can see the fault, it is detected by the inverter. And this is a self-learning platform, so inverters are self-learning the different scenarios and arc fault, and then it is shutting down the inverter within 2.5 seconds. So, and you will get the precise location where the arc fault has happened, so it is easier for the O&M team to do that in later on for maintenance. So this is a simple say, if the arc faults feature is enabled, how it is showing. So one video is showing that, the next you can see. So when arc fault was there enabled, then the detection, and it is immediately extinguishing the arc. We have also improved the length of the arc fault protection, because Huawei inverters are also used for large scale projects. So as per UL standard, UL 1699B, the length of the required for DC cable is 80 meters, but with our tailored solution, we are able to offer a 200-meter length for detection range, and it can also have a maximum current of 26 ampere, which includes the bifacial modules into the detection. So coming to higher yields, we have a basic principle of 2 strings per MPPT, which is giving higher generation. It is helping in removing the shading effects in the string, and also different azimuth, different tilt angles. So our smaller inverters, 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt, we are getting 2 MPPTs. With 36 kilowatt, we have 4 MPPTs. With 50 kilowatt, we have 6 MPPTs. And with 100 kilowatt, we have 10 MPPTs. So it gives a lot of flexibility for design in different orientations for the customer. And here is one case study which we have done in Thailand between a 20 kilowatt inverter of Huawei and other brand for 28 days. And we can see average increase is almost 1.56% in the energy yield from the system. We have up to 98.7% efficiency with our inverter model. So our 50 kilowatt is offering 98.7, and when a customer is doing PV simulation between a Huawei inverter and other brand of inverter, they can easily find that there's a yield increase of almost 1.19% in these different inverters. Another important factor is PID issue, which is happening in the system, which is almost degrading the output of the system, and it is caused and it's if you do the EL image of the module, you'll find a dark uh, space on all the cells, and if you start using a PID effect and you try to eliminate the PID effect, then you can increase the power output of the PV module. So this is how it is happening, that in the night we are using a small power which is 5 watt for night consumption, and repairing the module performance to increase the or reduce the effect of PID on the in the module in the night. So if anybody has a question about this, we can talk about it later. So this is a case study which we have done, and we have compared the yield for almost 6 months, and we found that over a period of time when the customer started using PID recovery feature, the yield has started increasing, and from the start to the end, almost 1.59% increase was there, found in the existing system in 6 months. So coming to maintenance free, we are offering inverters which are touch free. Also modules we expect to be touch free, and then with the natural cooling and plug and play dongle, and with the IV curve diagnosis, we are giving customers the important say information without touching the system or the inverters. So with Huawei, we have tried to eliminate all the quick wear parts, and to meet all the environment challenges which are coming for the uh, system. So we have removed fuses, which are one of the problem which is caused by we also have no fans. We have smart fans which are
Hello, Mr. Gandhi, are you there with us? I think we have lost his connection. We would like to proceed ahead with the next one-to-one chat session that we have. Before we proceed ahead with the chat session, I would be quickly launching polls.
hello.
Hello, Mr. Gandhi, are you there with us?
I actually had a power cut. There's no. I
Okay.
lost it actually. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Gandhi.
Can you hear me?
We can't hear you properly. There's a lot of lag from your end. Okay, we proceed ahead with the next session. We'll come back to Mr. Gandhi in some time. So I will quickly launch a poll before we proceed ahead with one-to-one chat session. How would you rate the current performance of rooftop inverters in India?
Hello.
Okay, I can see audience voting. I'm ending the poll now. So we have around 61 people agreeing with us that it meets the standards. Yes, Mr. Gandhi is back with us. Over to you, Mr. Gandhi.
I cannot share my screen. Okay, now I can share. Sorry, I actually had a power cut at my home.
No problem, sir. You can please proceed ahead.
So I was talking about Okay. So I was talking about the touch-free. We have no fuses, no quick wear parts for the inverters. That is one of the reason that our annual rate of failure is very low, which is almost 0.5%. And we also have a TV verified annual report for one of the system, which is giving availability at 99.996% for the inverter over several phases and almost 4 or 5 years of installation. This is one important aspect of and Huawei being a telecom player and having the experience of 30 years in telecom products brought in the natural experience from the telecom to smart PV inverters. And we have already supplied more than 118 gigawatt of inverters all over the world and more than 6 million pieces of telecom equipments which are using the same technology. And if you see on the left side of your screen, there's a thermal image of the inverter enclosure, and you can see that the uh, the the temperature spread is very optimal in this inverter. Our 50 we are rating all the inverters at 50 degrees. So our 20 kilowatt, for example, is rated at 50 degree at 20 kilowatt at 50 degree ambient temperature. Then 50 kilowatt also is rated at 50 degree ambient temperature and 100 kilowatt at 50 degree ambient temperature. If you see the curve, if the temperature is less than 45, then the output AC output from the inverter is 55 kilowatt. And with the new products which we have launched, which are 100 kilowatt inverters, we have improved the cooling system, and we have brought in an innovative heat exchange for complete air circulation for cooling fins. So this is used for cooling fins circulation, not inside the inverter circulation. And this is a highly reliable, innovative product which is used for self development of the chipset for this fans, and then it's a joint innovation between Huawei and another company. And this fan has a unique feature. When it starts in a reverse direction for a couple of minutes and then goes back to a normal position working, and it throws all the dust or any other particle which are there in the reverse direction to clean itself. And we have tested completely this solution, and we have expected 25 years lifespan for the fans or solution which we have brought in. Giving you a case study about touch free. So this is Bangalore International Airport. We have supplied our 36 kilowatt inverter for this. It is total capacity of 3.35 megawatt over the airport premises. And this is one of the single largest rooftop CNI project for airports in India in one shot. And they have used Huawei, and over the last 1 year, they have not found any failure. And even the performance is exceeding what they have considered during the design of the system. We are offering for smaller solutions smart dongles so that 10 inverters can be connected into one. So, and it is easier for communicating, and you can have a SIM card which can then communicate to all the information to the cloud. We are also focusing on the module faults. So we have brought in TUE in collaboration with TUE IV devices, and there are around 14 type of faults which are there on the modules. And with this solution, you can check all the faults. So this is our solution where you can run the IV curve for the whole plant without dismantling any module or anything, and then you get complete result for each and every string within almost 10 minutes for a megawatt level plant, which can give you accurately different types of 14 types of module issues with the accuracy of 0.5%. So it, instead of having a conventional diagnosis of bringing someone to the site and doing the test, which is also on the sampling basis, here we are talking about complete diagnosis online with 100% string, and complete report is generated automatically within 10 minutes. This solution of Huawei is working globally on a 5G plus platform, and there are several sites which are now getting the results. Also in India, or almost now 1 gigawatt of this solution is used by different customers. But majority of this is happening right now in the utility scale. We have just started offering customers this solution for the rooftop application. This is our smart data transmission. So this, you can see that we have a complete Rooftop. You can use smart dongle, you can use smart logger. All the information goes to the cloud, and then you get analysis and management through your or from the Fusion Solar Management System. So coming to the product portfolio, we have complete range of inverters for CNI segment from 15 kilowatt, 20 kilowatt to 36, 50 and 100. We are also coming up with new models which will be having arc detection and other features also inbuilt. So these will be launched by next quarter. Just a brief information about our 100 kilowatt. So this is having 10 MPPT inverters, maximum efficiency of 98% at 480 volt. And it can also support IV curve diagnosis. This also can support MBUS, which is PLC. And this is again with the fuse-free design, string level management, and IP66 protection. And we also have inbuilt DC surge arresters on AC and DC side. We are also talking or thinking about precise optimization. So we are soon going to bring in optimizer, which can be used with inverter for only, for example, if there are 20 modules in a series and you want to, you have a shading problem in inverter, you can directly connect to the inverter and do the precise optimization. So you don't have to install optimizer in the whole plant, only on specific areas where you see problems coming on because of AC or vent or fan or analog board. So you get complete optimization for the for the modules. So this is all from my side. I thank you all. And now I'll hand it over to Sangeeta for starting the next session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gandhi. Now, proceeding ahead, we would be having one-to-one chat session with smart leaders of rooftop industry, starting with Mr. Shobit Rai, Director Prozil Infra Engineering Private Limited, leading engineering and project management company. Mr. Dilip Mehta, Senior Vice President Product Development, Amplus Solar, Asia's leader in providing distributed solar and energy solutions to industrial and commercial customers. Ms. Rupam Gautam, Head Asset Management, CleanMax Solar, India's leading solar company, pioneering the energy scale model in rooftop solar. Mr. Rupesh Baker, Head of O&M India, Cleantech Solar, the leading provider of solar energy for commercial and industrial customers in Southeast Asia and India with higher standards of engineering and safety. Now, I would request all the panelists to please introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Shobit Rai.
Yeah, good afternoon all. Thank you very much, Solar Potter and HUAWEI, for inviting me on this webinar. My name is Shobit Rai. I'm the director of Prozil Infra Engineering. We are end-to-end solar EPC company where we provide rooftop as well as utility ground-mounted solar projects on a turnkey basis. As a company, we have overall installation of 250 megawatts and another 190 megawatts which are under construction. So that's it about me and my company. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can you please proceed ahead with Mr. Dilip Mehta from Amplus Solar?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dilip Mehta. I look after project delivery at Amplus. Just to give a quick introduction about Amplus, Amplus has got 650 megawatts of projects under installation or in operations. Out of that, 20% are rooftop projects and 80% are ground mount projects. So we are market leaders in distributed energy in Asia. So we basically cater to C&I customers in rooftop projects and on-site ground mount projects. And we also supply power to open access customers in different states. So largest project being 175 megawatt project called Veera in Karnataka. So this is a quick introduction about Amplus and myself.
Thank you, Mr. Mehta. Now proceeding ahead with Ms. Roopam Gautam.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Solar Quarter and HUAWEI for organizing this webinar. I'm Roopam Gautam. I'm leading the asset management team at CleanMax, one of the largest CNI developer in India and Southeast Asia. So basically a little brief about what CleanMax is doing. We are specifically into rooftop and providing open access solutions. We have almost more than 500 megawatt of installations across India and in Southeast Asia and Dubai. So as this topic is very interesting, so we have been one of the major users of string inverters. So it would be nice connecting with the audience here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Roopam. Now proceeding ahead with Mr. Rupesh Baker.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you again for inviting me to speak in this webinar. So about myself, I head the operations and maintenance for Cleantech Solar in India. And about Cleantech Solar is a solar IPP, which is based out of Singapore. We have operations across 7 countries in South Asia, and India being one of our biggest markets among these countries. So yeah, and we use a wide range of string inverters as well, and we have some experience that we can share with the people in this forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rupesh. Now I would be quickly asking a few questions to all the panel speakers, starting with Mr. Shobhit Rai. Sir, wanted to understand from your end, how important is training part from an inverter manufacturer company? Hello, sir, can you hear me? Mr. Shobhit Rai, can you hear me?
Sorry, I lost you in between. Maybe some issue with the network. Sorry, I could not hear you. If you can just repeat once again.
Yes, sure. So I wanted to understand from your end, how important is training part from an inverter manufacturer company?
I think it's really critical to understand about the right way to install a particular inverter, not only from a perspective of warranty, but also in terms of performance and long-term reliability of the product. So it really becomes important that each and every member of the installation team, including the design team, understands and train themselves about the product, because every product has a different technical parameters, or things which we need to take into consideration while right from designing to the execution point. So this becomes a very important feature, not only for any particular manufacturer, but it is a very important parameter to get the training done. And I think as far as HUAWEI is concerned, we have been using their inverters for almost more than 3 years now, and they got an excellent team who trains our engineers from time to time, wherein the product wherever the new product comes in, they provide all sort of support in terms of giving the product training to our engineers at the field and also to the design team.
Thank you. Moving ahead with Mr. Mehta. According to you, what type of typical failures are observed on site with respect to inverter, and how you feel HUAWEI is able to address those? I have one more question. How much is user or developer concerned about rooftop safety. Is AFCI feature really helpful and highlights of the present scenario in the market and inputs on planning in optimizer solution?
That you're asking. First, let us talk about the roof safety. I think that is very, very important because basically C&I customers have got machinery and people working below the roofs, and they also use them as warehouses for storing their materials. So it is very important that the rooftop installation that is safe and it does not cause any electrical accidents and doesn't cause any harm to the people and to the machinery and to the plant itself. So AFCI feature that Mr. Gandhi discussed about. So that's a good feature. I think a lot of R&D is happening in that field. So HUAWEI is quickly learning and implementing those features in the projects. We have been using HUAWEI inverters for past 6 months. So far we have not come across any such cases. So that's a good part. Your first question was that what kind of faults are coming in the inverters. Generally, one is a software related problems. Those are basically related to the communication part of it. And second problem is the hardware part of it, because a lot of fuses, fans, IGBTs, so many components are there within the inverter. So each of the components can fail. So that can cause a hardware issue, and immediately that hardware has to be replaced, or the entire inverter has to be replaced. So the third part is the external connections. So all these inverters, we do the earthing and electrical connections will be there. So if there are any issues with the earthing or the electrical connections, those can also cause failure of the inverters. Broadly, I would divide these problems into 3 parts. And generally, the problem in the inverters, so far we didn't have any problems. Installations are just about 6 months time with the HUAWEI inverters. But with the earlier inverters that we have used, so usually what we do is we replace the inverters, because at component level, replacement of the components is not possible. It takes time. So keep inverters, or we tell the OEMs to keep the spare inverters and they replace them. And what was the question was power electronic at module level field. I think HUAWEI with their R&D capabilities, I think they can work more on this area to make sure that these optimizers that are developed, they will optimize the power generation and reduce the mismatch between the modules. So we are using optimizers for some of our projects, especially for the single axis tracker projects, where we have about 60 modules connected to a string, to make sure that all the modules are performing optimally and we are getting the best current and the voltage. So those are not on HUAWEI inverters. Those are other inverters are there. So we have been using optimizers, and going forward, I think we will be using more as the size of the modules keep growing. Like now today we are using up to 500 watt peak modules. So I think the use of optimizers or the microinverters would increase in this field.
Thank you for your insights, sir. Thank you. Proceeding ahead with Ms. Rupam Gautam, here are some questions for you.
Yeah.
PID, according to you, how big is this issue and how inverters can support in this? Are really modules PID free or just PID resistant? One more question. What is the uptime observed for HUAWEI string inverters? Or we can say, what is the failure rate as per your experience? We would also like to hear from you market for DG sync with on-grid inverters and how HUAWEI is matching this requirement.
Right. Thank you, Sangeeta. So pretty relevant questions in today's changing scenarios. So first I'll talk about the requirement of DG sync that has been coming up lately. So as I was discussing, now we are expanding more onto the CNI segment. So with more CNI segment, the requirement for DG sync is rapidly increasing. Earlier, the scene was all right. You have a particular capacity to be installed, install it, and whenever the power failure or grid failure would happen, probably people were more comfortable switching off the solar plant. But now with the changing advancements and with the changing technologies, people are understanding and they are going towards this DG sync solution. Specifically in CleanMax also, we have implemented a lot of DG syncs for multiple of our CNI clients. So definitely it's a big market. HUAWEI has a lot, to look into it. And now people do not want even a single unit loss from solar. So now, since we have seen the times of COVID and other things, the more focus is on to savings, and solar being one of the topmost option of saving is somehow, pushing into that direction. So definitely DG sync is a big thing that would be coming in future. Second, your question pertaining to PID. So PID does affect the performance, and the way market has been maturing, we have almost, there are some plants which have almost crossed that 7 years or 8 years of barrier. So definitely the issue of PID and other problems are arising. As Mr. Gandhi was, showing in his presentation earlier, this inbuilt feature of HUAWEI could be a very innovative thing in the segment of inverters, because right now to analyze any PID issue, you have to go through a separate process, you have to go through a separate this thing, testing and other things. But now when inbuilt options like these would be there, it would be just a minute or a two process. As you said that whether it's a reality, I mean, can you just repeat your third question? What was it? It's a
what do you think? We would like to hear from you about the market DG sync with on-grid inverters and how HUAWEI is matching this requirement. This
no,
was
the
my
PID.
third
Okay,
question.
so the PID part. So it's PID.
Are modules really
Yeah.
PID free or PID resistant?
Yes. So it's a very thin line between saying whether a module is PID free or PID resident. PID issues are occurring, and I mean all of the people who are part of this webinar, they would have been facing this. So we cannot simply say that whether it's PID free or PID resident. Taking about different makes of modules, how technologies are evolving. There are some who are PID resident, but yes, definitely not PID free. So we need to get onto that technology wherein we can be sure that if there is any issue, at least that could be detected and could be solved.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Moving ahead with our next speaker panelist, Mr. Rupesh Baker. We would like to gain some insights on IV curve. What's its importance for solar plant? How HUAWEI IV curve diagnosis software has helped you in asset management? What is the uptime observed for HUAWEI string inverters? Or we can say, what is the failure as per your experience?
Yeah, thanks, Anita. So as for the IV curve, it's definitely a much useful feature, because if not for an IV curve, you'll have to go through some thermal imaging, which could take a long time, and it's also more expensive to do that for a bigger plant. But with the IV curve, it's much quicker, and with the level of data that they've already collected from previous modules, they're able to almost predict almost accurately what the issue is, which can help you identify the problem soon enough and solve it. So we've used this feature at a few of our sites and found that to be quite useful. And on the second question that you raised, what was the second question again?
What is the uptime observed for HUAWEI string inverter?
Yeah, so we've been using these inverters for the past 2 years or so. So I would say the failure rate has been much lower than our other inverters that we have tried. And the number of issues that we face as well are quite few in terms of, because of maybe they don't use fuses and fans. So these are components that could fail. So since those don't fail, our uptime is quite high as well.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Mr. Gandhi. Would you like to close the panel or address few questions? You'll have to unmute yourself.
So I thank you for all your feedback, which is given by Mr. Mehta Mr. Shobit, Mr. Rupesh, and Ms. Rupam Gautam. And they are our users. They have already used Huawei solution, and some important factors or some of the benefits which we are already trying to bring in without fuses or no fans or say IV curve diagnosis. These are already be tried by these customers. And my request to Mr. Rupesh is to, if he can give us a brief idea about how he was his experience using the IV curve diagnosis.
Yeah, the feature was actually very useful. Like, for example, I tried it for a site which is probably uh, 8 hours away from my office, right? I could just sit at my office and get the report within 10 minutes and send it to my team there to actually get the rectifications done. We had some issues in 2 or 3 strings, and that could be done within a matter of few hours. Otherwise, it would have been people going to site and doing this thermal imaging. Could take a couple of days to get the report. So that way, I think it definitely saves us a lot of time to get to the root cause and fix the issues.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Mehta, you have also been using these optimizers. So I just shared about optimizer. Huawei is bringing in a optimizer which is used for any inverter. It is poly, mono, or bifacial, a single optimizer for all the modules. So what do you think? If that kind of optimizer is given to a customer, will they be easily using that, or they'll still face challenges?
Installation where we have these optimizers, we are not facing any problems. So the
Yeah.
performance actually gets better, it improves. So I think with the module rating getting increased day by day, so there is a room for optimizers and microinverters going forward. They'll be beneficial to the industry.
Yeah, and we are also trying to have a precise optimization, which means only two modules in that string will need optimizer, or all others can work as a normal with string. So what is your view about that?
No, that is good feature to have. So let us use it to comment on it.
Okay. And Ms. Rupam Gautam, if you can share more about DG Sync system, or I think you have already used our solution for DG Sync. So
Yes,
how was
yes.
that?
So in fact, I would just like to throw light on two of your features, very good features along with DG Sync. The other one being the fan technology and the DG Sync one. So there was a site where we were having constant issues of grid failure, and as a result of which we were not able to get whatever we have expected as the solar generation. So this solution we suggested to the client, and it worked out really well. Since then, there has been a substantial saving on the diesel part also, and at the same time there has been solar generation increment also. So definitely that system has helped us very well. And along with that, earlier with other brands, there's a thing which needs to be put a lot of focus is on the fan cleaning and other parts. So since that is one of the very good features, I wanted to highlight it. A lot of focus was given to the O&M team that please get the fan cleaning done, otherwise derating issues might happen and other things like that. But with this technology of yours, we are pretty happy because we need not to get into those hassles of getting it cleaned every now and then. So I guess two of these features are something we are looking forward, and it's almost, I guess, more than an year that we have been using HUAWEI inverters. So well satisfied with your services, Gandhiji.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
And Mr. Shobit, just one question for you. Since we have been supporting you, and as there was a question about inverter training and usage, so how easy it is, or can you give us a feedback about how your say on Huawei inverters, how it is for you?
Yeah, I think first of all, just I would like to highlight one point is that out of almost more than 400 numbers of installations that we would have done in last couple of years with Huawei inverters, plus another 350 for this large project that we have procured. So we have, I mean, Huawei has been the only inverter supplier where we have had not a single failure or a single replacement. I mean, normally, there could be maybe 1.5% of failures or replacement, but I think Huawei has been one of the only brands where we have not faced any sort of replacement issue as on date. Secondly, as far as the support is concerned, we have been pretty much satisfied with the kind of support, because whether it is related to the to this SACU unit, which is now very critical part when it comes to the 1500-volt system for large ground mounted projects, or for that matter anything related to small service issues here and there related to SCADA or communication. Your team has been, or Huawei team has been, right from your service engineers in India or from China, wherever the support has been required, they have always been on time and given us the proper solution. So I mean, we are pretty much satisfied, and that's the reason you must have seen that the quantum of inverters or the shift from other manufacturers to Huawei, especially for us, has been increasing every year.
Okay, thank you, Sangeeta ji. So maybe you can add if you want to add something.
Thank you all the key panelists. Now we would like to proceed ahead with the next session. We would be having a quick quiz contest over here, wherein the QR code is highlighted on your screen. For mobile users, you can find a link on your chat screen, which is redirected you to a page wherein there are around 5-6 questions that you can quickly put in your answers to and send it to us. I would allow 5 minutes for the attendees to answer the questions. I can see all the audience participating in this quiz contest. Thank you all the audience. You can keep answering to these quiz questions through the link which is provided on your chat box. We will be moving ahead with the next video, which is a video on Huawei Factory Tour.
Welcome to the Huawei Southern Factory Smart PV demo site. My name is Ethan, and it is my great honor to guide you through the site today. The capacity of a Southern Factory rooftop PV plant is 17.5 megawatt, and it can generate about 17 gigawatt hour of electricity per annum. The demo site shows the distributed PV plant solution and optimal LCOE design for utility PV plant. Now, let's have a tour of the plant together. HUAWEI string inverter passed comprehensive reliability tests like highly accelerated live test and temperature humidity bias test, etc. With IP66 high protection level, the inverter can operate stably in various harsh environments. Here, for example, we can see inverters running under heavy water jets. And some inverters are running in high temperature heating chamber. HUAWEI inverters were deployed over 118 gigawatts globally, and its annual failure rate is less than 0.4%. Now, let's go to explore the distributed PV plant together. Next, you can see the area of residential scenarios. For residential scenarios, HUAWEI is committed to bringing 3 core values to customers: active safety, high yields, and better experience. The application scenario of distributed PV solution is mainly on the roof of industry and commercial building or family house, so the system safety is critical. Among them, DC arcing caused by loose PV connector or damaged PV cable, etc., is one of the main hidden fire hazard. Arcing can reach a temperature of 3000 degrees Celsius in a short period of time, which can burn the insulation layer of the cable and cause a fire. Meanwhile, the fire caused by this kind of electrical equipment will also put a great risk of electrocution to firefighters. HUAWEI introduced the AI-powered active arcing protection. By detecting the electrical noise waveform of DC arc and comparing it with that in the database, it can confirm whether DC arc is generated within 2.5 seconds and shut down the system to ensure that the arc is extinguished immediately. AI-powered active arcing protection meets the US UL 1699B standard and is industrial leading. At the same time, the application of AI self-learning technology enables the inverter to continuously record and identify new arcing noise waveform during the operation, so as to realize the more inverter get used, the smarter and safer it becomes, and ensures the high reliability of the PV plants in the lifespan. In the residential scenario with optimizers, HUAWEI AI-powered active arcing protection can not only shut down the system, but also accurately locate arcing to module level. Therefore, the O&M personnel can get the specific arcing position through the APP without attend to the plant, which saves a lot of effort. Another big challenge faced by distributed PV solution is that the rooftop structure is relatively complex, and the external air conditioner, billboard on the roof, and antenna of base station, etc., may shadow the solar panels, thus affecting the yield. We have imitated a house rooftop and installed 24 pieces of PV modules equipped with the HUAWEI optimizers, which are distributed in the east, west, north, and south sides of the roof. If other system is like ours, the rooftop PV module layout design can make full use of the rooftop area, and the PV modules with different orientations can be connected into one string. It can ensure that the output current of the PV module will not be affected when it is in the shadow, and the yield of other PV modules in the string will not be affected. Compared with no optimizer, it can reduce the yield loss. The volume of the second generation optimizer is reduced by 50%, which can be held by one hand, and one model can match all models of PV module. So the installation is easier. HUAWEI adopts AI module auto mapping technology, which can automatically generate physical layout of PV modules within 5 seconds, saving 99% deployment time compared with traditional manual process. HUAWEI's unique patent AC terminal can reduce installation to 30 seconds. Single-phase and small 3-phase inverters are integrated with battery interface, supporting easy expansion at any time. In the future, there will be self-developed energy storage system and backup box to ensure the consumer's self-use rate. Next to the residential scenario, there will be a C&I scenario expansion area in the near future. Please stay tuned. Next, let's go to explore the optimal LCOE scenario of utility PV solution. Now we are in the optimal LCOE scenario for utility PV plant. In order to achieve lower LCOE, the design of 1500 volt string inverter plus bifacial module plus tracker system is highly recommended. Let's take a look at this site. Two of 175 kilowatt 1500 volts inverters are installed. Each inverter is connected to 2 strings. Each string has 34 pieces of 310 watt N-type monocrystalline half-cut cell bifacial dual glass modules in series, installed on the single access tracker.
Thank you all the audience. Now we would be proceeding ahead with, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Now proceeding ahead with the next session, one-to-one chat session, focusing on intelligence era, an era of cloud backed by big data and AI, leading energy digitalization for smart and sustainable world. Before we move on with our panelists, I would quickly be launching 2 last polls. What is the most important thing for inverter selection in rooftop business? I'm closing the poll now. So we have 44% agreeing with service. Okay, I'll be quickly launching one more poll. Do you accept string inverter as solution for ground mount solutions? I'm ending the poll now. So we have around 95% agreeing with it. Thank you all the audience. Moving on with our one-to-one chat session, we have Mr. Venugopal Ramakrishnan, Director Torque Systems, Premier EPC Service Provider for Solar PV Systems. We have Mr. Krit Soor, AVP Sunshot Technologies, leading brand in Indian's rooftop solar power EPC industry. We have Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, Head Growth and Strategy, Sunshot Energy, the complete solutions partner for your solar power journey. We have Mr. Ranganatha HR, Head Procurement, Solar PV Rooftop, Atria Power, provides infrastructure and construction services. I would now request each panel speaker to kindly introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Venugopal Ramakrishnan.
Hello, good afternoon to all of you. I'm Ramakrishnan. I'm one of the founders of Torque Systems. We are a solar energy provider based out of Chennai. We've been in the solar business since 2004, actually. We were the first to start silicon processing. So we were providing all the major solar cell and manufacturers silicon recycling capability to reduce their cost for making solar cells and solar wafers. Of course, and then since 2011, we have been in this rooftop installation business, done something like that, and mainly focused on the CNI space. So we've done something like about 40 megawatts so far, focused mainly, of course, in the south, but we've done plants across the country.
Thank you, sir. Proceeding ahead with Mr. Krish Soor from Sunshot Technologies.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you Solar Quarter and HUAWEI for organizing this webinar. So I am Krish Soor, representing Sunshot Technologies. I heads the design and engineering at Sunshot Technologies. So Sunshot Technologies is an on-site solar power company where we construct the plant at the customer premises. A majority of our customers are from the commercial and industrial segment. We mostly cater the large corporates, government agencies, airports, and Bangalore Airport and Mumbai Airport are two of the biggest installation we have. A cumulative installation base we have is approximately 65 megawatt, and site in terms of number of site, it is close to 200 numbers of sites. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Proceeding ahead with Mr. Kartikeya Sharma from Sunshore Energy.
Hello, and thank you for making us a part of this wonderful webinar, Sangeeta and Mr. Gandhi. I'm Kartikeya Sharma. I'm one of the co-founders of Sunshore Energy. We are one of the leading EPC providers in India, and what differentiates us from the rest of the market is, of course, the scale at which we operate. We have over 150 megawatt installed plants across the country. We're operating in over 16 states, and the size of our installations range from anywhere from 500 kilowatt to one of our largest plants, which is a 56 megawatt plant that we are currently constructing in Uttar Pradesh, which is under the open access model. Again, we started in 2014, and our focus from the get-go has been to work with marquee commercial and industrial clients with a vision to transform the mix of power that the largest energy guzzlers in the country are currently working with for their operations. That's me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now moving ahead with Mr. Ranganatha from Atria Power.
Yeah, good afternoon. Myself, Ranganath, heading Rooftop division in Atria. Atria is pretty old group, established in 1960. Atria Group is one of the most eminent business group in southern part of India. We have strong 3 promoter and with an exceptional track record of vision, leadership, and ethics. So we have 500 megawatt operational plant across India, and of course, from last 2 years, we are focusing more into rooftop business. Almost we have completed around 15 megawatt now as of today, and we have been using this HUAWEI inverter. And thanks for this webinar, HUAWEI and Impulse, of course, the Solar Quarter.
Thank you, Ranganatha. Now we'll be moving forward with quick questions that we have from the attendees. Starting with first, Mr. Venugopal. Quick question for you. Mode of service. What do you prefer, repair or replacement? And how is your experience with HUAWEI? One more question. How important is mounting of inverters for you in rooftop scenarios? And what are the options that are available for HUAWEI inverters?
Okay, so to answer your first question, we have been using HUAWEI for a little over 2 years now. And so far, we have not had any failures. However, we have had failures of other inverters. I mean, typically inverters don't fail in the first 5 years. I've seen that. Very, even if it fails, very, very rarely. So not only HUAWEI, others have also, the world class have a very good record. Having said that, we prefer the first to replace. So that the customer is not inconvenienced, and then the production can start immediately. But in the long term, I believe repair has to be the only way to reduce the cost. Replacement is nice. It will be a quick solution, but it will be costly. So I think every solar cluster must have the ability to do repairs. So companies like HUAWEI and so on and so forth must provide easy to replace parts or make it modular enough that these failed parts can be easily replaced either at customer side directly by, say, EPCs or by their own service sites. So replace is a first, and it need not be a new inverter. It could be a used inverter as well. But repair will have to be done to reduce cost.
Thank you, sir. Now proceeding ahead with
Second question was?
Second question was, how important is mounting of inverters for you in rooftop scenario? What all options are available for HUAWEI inverters?
So in the case of HUAWEI inverters, we have installed it both on wall mount as well as on a structure mount. So of course, if it's a wall mount, you need to have sufficient space behind the inverter and the wall. Yeah, that's not so much of a problem. So depending on each location, depending on the available space and the most effective use of space, we can do either wall mount or we can do a structure mount. Okay.
Thank you. Now proceeding ahead with Mr. Krish Sood. Fan and fuse free design was introduced by HUAWEI. How has been your experience with this feature? Future of optimizer solution.
So regarding the fuse uses in the string inverter, so earlier generation inverters, they must have to have these fuses. Even some cases people put additional string fuse box or DC combiner box to address those. But in the HUAWEI, they introduced this fuseless design. So if you see, we operate in a very strict operation and maintenance budget here in India. So that's why it is very important to have as low as possible in terms of operationability and the maintenance of the inverter. So this fuseless design is absolutely beneficial in that we have a very significant improvement, because once a fuse got damaged, a person need to visit the site and that need to be replaced. In case of rooftop solar, this is a very difficult, and your plant is off till the fuse is getting replaced. So this fuseless design and this only 2 string in 1 MPPT, that helps tremendously to address those fuseless design. Second question was, what is the second question?
How has been your experience with this feature and future of optimizer solution?
Okay. In the future optimizer, we have used, we have till now not used HUAWEI optimizer. We have used same kind of solution from other manufacturer. But yes, in rooftop solar, considering the tilt, azimuth, and the different partial shadows, we have optimizer will be absolutely beneficial in the growth of rooftop solar. And in the one thing which excites me really about the HUAWEI optimizer is that we need not to use 100% of the optimizer. We can, even in the entire plant, we can partially use the optimizer. So that will take care of the costing part as well as the installation, ease of installation. So I think in the rooftop solution till now, what you have faced, there's a bright future for the optimizer, and especially this solution type what HUAWEI is providing, that partial using of the optimizer, as well as from the safety point of view, there is the option available that you can ground zero it before actually reaching to the module. There's an option to, you can shut off the DC also. So these are the 2 points, the partial use of it and safety point, which will definitely be very encouraging, and I see a bright future for the optimizer in the rooftop solar.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to Mr. Kartikeya Sharma. Digital world. How important is data information for solar plant? And what kind of communication issues are observed on the field? Where will you rate HUAWEI on the scale of 10?
Thank you for the question, Sangeeta. I think some very pertinent points have already been brought to the fore by Mr. Venugopal and Chris. That I think set a good platform for me to answer this question. So I think yes, given the lower budget for O&M that we have in the country, and also because of the very extraordinary long life of the solar plant as an asset, right? Even if it is a small solar plant or even if it is a very huge solar plant, all solar plants have an exceptionally long life, right? 20, 25 years or so, which makes it very important for us to, have proper digital systems for capturing data from our plants. Another problem with solar plant, not a problem, or I think an aspect of the solar ecosystem is that there are multiple stakeholders involved always, right? There will be teams at the site. There will be an asset management team with the developer. There will be a developer management team. There will be an EPC team, maybe, which has set up the plant, which has certain liabilities with the plant. And all of these stakeholders need to, in case of any issue, they need to align on the same page, right? In order to have a good resolution, which makes it of paramount importance to have data captured through digital means, data captured through systems and stored in systems which are easy to read, which thankfully, I think in today's world, there is no dearth of innovation on that front. We've seen the industry evolve from having no decent cloud-based monitoring systems in 2014, 15, even all the way till 2017. I've seen ground-mounted plants that were set up, were mostly set up with a plan to have on-premise data storage, and but the world has since then moved very quickly to completely cloud-based solutions for monitoring of solar power plants, which I think furthers the case of digitization. Now, this was, I think, one more important trend that we need to see now is, I think, from a power component perspective, I think the transformation is quite perfect. I think all components, especially inverters, whether it is HUAWEI or any other inverters, I think HUAWEI does a better job than most other manufacturers today when it comes to ease of communication and the smoothness of the same. They've done a great job with standardizing their communication protocols across different sizes of the inverters. So I think the performance monitoring of the components is a solved problem largely, except for the communication bit. I think there is a lot of innovation going on there as well. But I think another aspect is the operations of the plant, the operations and maintenance activities. I think we need better systems and better processes also to capture maintenance activities and the results of the same in digital systems. Right? That is, I think, something which is not happening enough. But yes, we are doing that, and I think a lot of other big developers, big asset management companies are moving towards digitizing activity data on the ground as well, which I think is very beneficial and very important for us to move on to a predictive maintenance based future, right? Which I think is the vision for everybody. Now on to your next question, the communication and our experience of communication with HUAWEI inverters. I think it has been pretty good. We have used over, I'm not sure of the exact number, but I think we've used over 200 HUAWEI inverters in the past 3 years. String inverters from sizing ranging from 36 kilowatts to all the way to 100 kilowatt. And we've not had any significant challenges in communicating with these systems. Of course, we've so far only used the serial communication, the DV chaining and RS485 based communications, but are very excited to know more about if there are any more wireless communications which are hitting the ground. I saw Gandhiji present a few in the beginning. We are very, very willing to try them out, because I think having wires and these are communication cables which are very prone to burning out, and because you're serially connecting these inverters, even if one of the inverters fails, the entire communication chain kind of goes down. So I think moving on to wireless modes of communication is definitely a need of the hour, but making it work in the context of the Modbus protocol, I think, is the real challenge which everybody is struggling with. I'm very excited to see how HUAWEI solves that.
Thank you, sir. Here's one more question for you. Grid code and standards are getting more strict these days. Can you please highlight major requirement from inverter side on this, relative power control, zero export, etc.?
Oh yes. So one on the rooftop side, I think this problem is much bigger than anywhere else. I think on the rooftop side, one by one, all these states, UP, Maharashtra, Karnataka, or all Tamil Nadu, have all been clamping down on the net metering feature that the grid was offering for rooftop plants. What is happening because of that is that you have to basically avoid your plant. You have to make sure that your plant does not send any electricity back into the grid which becomes very difficult in certain cases. And in fact, we have a very, very unique use case of this in a glass factory in Noida. So being a glass factory, they have a very, the total load is very, very volatile. It has a very high coefficient of variation. And having a control of inverters in that particular scenario becomes very difficult because you're communicating in a serial chain, right? In a serial chain, it takes time for you to send the signal to all the inverters, and you need to bring all the inverters down together and take them up together when you're curtailing, so as to you have minimum loss. So we are doing this with 13 inverters of HUAWEI in one of our sites over here, and the results have been fantastic. In fact, I'm planning to write a small paper on it as well. I'll try to publish that as soon as possible. But what we are seeing is that this glass factory, which has such a volatile load, is actually operating right now during the day hours, and we are seeing exceptionally clear days also, is completely operating on solar for 4 to 5 days, 4 to 5 hours during the peak hours of the day. And there is very little flow back into the grid, which is under 0.5% of the total generation. And despite, and we've had incidents. We have a relay at the outgoing end, so sometimes when there's too much power going out towards the grid, we trip the inverters also. And even in that case, we've seen that the HUAWEI inverters we've not seen any failure, we've not seen any accident or any arcing or anything. Even in multiple cases where the plant has been stopped all of a sudden in the past while we were setting this up. So I think we've had an excellent experience with HUAWEI inverters, and it is going to be a need going forward, which inverter manufacturers need to definitely keep at the center of their new product features, because just like so net metering is just one example, because I don't see batteries coming in for another 2 to 3 years really as part of these systems, which can then cushion help us cushion these erratic power regulations. But till the batteries come up, I think most of this variation ka brunt will be borne by these inverters. And these inverters need to take into account not only power curtailment, how to very smoothly do power curtailment, but also I think going forward, there will be voltage and frequency norms that solar power producers will have to start following. And again, without the batteries being there, the inverters will have to enable, will have to have those features wherein you can use a microcontroller to simply manage that dynamically within the inverters. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now moving forward with Mr. Ranganatha, he has a quick question for you. According to you, market share of string versus central GM projects and future, we would like to hear some views on it. Market share of string versus central in GM projects and future.
See, definitely, looking at the issues which we are facing with the central inverter in ground mount project is very high, and it is leading to a lot of generation loss and finally the revenue loss. So the string inverters are eliminating most of the critical component, high risk component, you can say, that is the string monitoring box. For the sake we say string monitoring, but so you can say 80% of the plants are not operating with string monitoring. Okay. And the fuse failure is another part, and the DC cable carrying high current, and at the central inverter, the DC current with a huge high voltage, so which is a high risk for the people, right? So that way, if you look at, and also finally it boils down to cost. So the string inverters nowadays, of course, it's not a small in size now. Now it is almost equal to the string SMB capacity. You can say 185 kilowatt, even 200 kilowatt. It is coming up. So finally, the string inverters are going to play a major role in market. HUAWEI has predicted around 60%, but I can predict, it will cross 80% in India at least. Because so overall world, of course, it will be 60%. They have issue with China and all. I agree, but India, of course, they will definitely cross 80% in future ground mounted project. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ranganatha. Now over to you, Mr. Brinder Gandhi, if you would like to have some questions with the panelists.
Sir, thank you for your inputs. These are really deep inputs which you have provided. So we have been trying to bring in new features and always trying to adapt to the new innovation which are being done by the R&D team. So what do you feel about the IV curve feature for the rooftop segment? And also, if we are able to eliminate all the say RS485 cables or communication cables which are used for say communication between the inverters, and try to bring in a MBUS solution which is on the AC cables, so it will be beneficial for the system. So your inputs on that, please.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, to answer this question, if you want to bring in remove the serial communication, putting a PLC communication, that will definitely help. The question is to make it faster, because like what Kartikeya mentioned, we have one side where we are controlling 20 inverters doing this diesel and zero export. And so, we are reaching the edge of what we can do to in a control. So the speed becomes, latency becomes very, very critical, so that we can maximize the usage of solar in these applications, and also to prevent any of these, tripping of this one. So that becomes key. You were talking about something else beginning. In the first.
I was asking about IV curve diagnosis.
Oh, definitely. So if you can, that will be a very good solution, because like, in the previous panel also someone was mentioning, going out and taking, this thermal imaging is not a very easy thing to do. And so the IV curve, if it's able to help us troubleshoot string level problems.
We aren't able to hear you properly.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So definitely that IV curve tracing solution at the string level will be a very big value, because like I said, putting a thermal imager and going around is not the best way. Also, it depends on the radiation levels at which time you go and do a thermal imaging. So those are all not very easy to control on a field. So having such a solution will definitely help.
Yeah, because why we are trying to focus it on the rooftop is also because it is not easy to dismantle a panel in the rooftop system, and
Absolutely.
not easy to also access all the modules on the roof. So when you have this kind of feature, and then it is easier for you to diagnose all the whole, even single module, which string has a problem, and then you can easily do the maintenance job for that.
Definitely. Going as we go with the 1500 volt, even, we've done a few rooftops at HT connection. So, the number of panels in the string keeps increasing, right? So definitely this will help.
Yeah. And what is your view about the arc fault detection feature, which is coming up now?
Yeah, so arc fault detection is good. We are also, in fact, first installation where we will put a DC cutoff also at the roof level. We will install it in the next quarter in a large installation. Not large, it's a 1.5 megawatt installation. The customer has requested that the NFPA standards be employed there. So there we are going to install a DC cutoff solution at the spring level. So definitely this will be more and more such systems will need to be installed. There have already been a few major fires in India on rooftop systems. I think some of the panelists here may also be aware about, in a textile unit. There's one more in Chennai, near Tamil Nadu, and there was one, and there was another big fire somewhere in Noida. So these safety issues from cost, I think India will start to move to safety performance, and so definitely this detection and turning off the PC will be a very big value. Especially rooftop, yeah, especially because there's a lot of high value manufacturing happening inside the building. So just to save a few pennies, more and more people will start to look for safety and performance.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Since you have mentioned about the quality and the reliability aspect of the inverters, so we can also show you a video of how we are manufacturing these inverters in the factory. So maybe you can, or all the attendees and panelists can see what actually we are doing at the factory and how we are doing that for you when we are delivering the inverters and manufacturing them. So maybe Sangeeta, can we play that video?
Yes, sir, sure.
HUAWEI is a global leader of ICT solutions, whose products and solutions are widely deployed in more than 170 countries, serving about 1/3 of the population on the planet. By whole process management of manufacture, HUAWEI provides high-quality products and global applications. By far, a China-centered supply and manufacture network has been established and covered the whole world. With a plant floor area of 1.5 million square meters, HUAWEI's Zhongshan Lake plant, also renowned as the Southern Plant, is focused on core manufacture, such as trial manufacture, advanced technologies, and high-end products, serving as HUAWEI's incubator center of manufacture technologies. HUAWEI's manufacture is characterized by strict quality management and highly automated equipment. In material testing, advanced material testers and technologies are deployed, and professional IQC teams are responsible for materials quality. After testing, the materials are stored in an automatic logistics center integrated with receiving, storage, selection, kitting, and delivery, and delivered to workshops by the AGVs, the logistics robots. In PCB manufacture, HUAWEI introduces advanced SMT equipment, which are capable of processing tiny components and complicated large PCBs. In addition, advanced automated coupling welding equipment enable production lines to assemble delicate parts. HUAWEI has developed normalized testing platforms and the intelligent diagnosis system, which provide one key loading, automatic testing, cloud testing, and other functions to test assemblies of whole machines in response to customer requirements. HUAWEI cooperates with famous third-party logistics carriers to ensure accurate and prompt shipment. Due to the small size and high integrity, smart inverters are automatically manufactured and tested on HUAWEI's powerful platforms. The productivity is flexible and extensible, responding quickly to market's demand. The products manufactured by each SMT production line can be changed within 5 minutes. The strict quality management runs through the whole process of inverters manufacture. All PCB's functions are tested after their manufacture, and the rejection rate is nearly 4 out of a million, following 6 Sigma index. Through automatic 3-proofing lacquer coating, PCBs are dust-proof, mildew-proof, and anti-corrosion. In the automated inductor dosing process, the gum of which thermal conductivity is 30 times that of the air, mixed in perfect proportion, are poured into inductors for inverters' better radiation. The inverters are manufactured in simple assembly process and have high consistency. The strictly managed manufacture process, highly standard manual operation, and workers' responsible attitudes have made inverters into quality works. On HUAWEI's self-developed automated testing platform, every single inverter is strictly tested. In air tightness testing, the high-pressure air is injected into each inverter. In aging testing, also named burn-in testing, inverters are running for at least consecutive 8 hours in 50 degrees Celsius chamber. In safety and electrical testing, all functions, including anti-landing protection, are tested. All of these manufacture and testing processes are meant to ensure that all inverters meet customer demand. Always available for highest yields.
Thank you very much. I'm sure the audience must have got an insight on it. So now we quickly have the winners of the quiz contest with us. We have Mr. Gaurav Chaudhary from Clean Max. We have Mr. Ramesh Chauhan from Clean Max. We have Mr. Srinivas from Bangalore, Ensign. We have Ramakrishna from Vijay. We have Harshavardhan Vijay Kulkarni from Acharya. We have Mr. Vinod Sayani from Amplis Solar. We have Mr. Sushil from Clean Tech. And we have Mr. Girish Jha from Semicon. Thank you all the winners. You will be shortly getting the mementos from HUAWEI once the lockdown is open. I would now request each panel members to give their closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Solar Quarter and Impulse. It is definitely a good opportunity, especially during this shutdown and lockdown, to have an opportunity to interact, to understand what's going on, and to also share, some of the best known methods and so on and so forth. So, really good opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to our next panel speaker.
Thank you,
Yes,
Sangeeta, and thank you, Gandhiji, for organizing this. It's been a wonderful session, and look forward to more of these.
Thank you.
yes.
Mr.
Thank you,
Gandhi,
Solar
your
Quarter.
closing.
Thank you, HUAWEI, for organizing this. I think all of us shared our own perspective, and that cumulatively build our understanding as well as the operating. So that will help. Thank you for the webinar.
Thank you. Mr. Gandhi, your closing remarks, please.
I am thank you to all the panelists and speakers, and they have shared their experience with HUAWEI, and I'm very happy that they are satisfied with our service and the product, and we will keep our products improving and innovating and ensuring that we are always try to solve all the problems which we have discussed with you, and try to bring in new solutions to eliminate all those problems. So thank you very much. Thank you all the panelists, and thank you all the attendees for attending. And we will be in touch. In case anyone needs any information, they can get in touch with me or Impulse Green team or HUAWEI team, and we will be definitely happy to help you and give you information required. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all the key panelists. Thank you all the attendees for attending this webinar. We will surely keep you posted with upcoming webinars. Thank you very much.